Hi, my name is Jessie Taken Alive Rencountre. I'm a children's book author. I love writing stories for children. I'm a Hunkpapa Lakota. I grew up on the Standing Rock Reservation all my life in a town called McLaughlin, South Dakota. I now make my home here in Rapid City on the west side of the state. And my favorite place here in South Dakota is actually these beautiful Black Hills behind me. Why? The Black Hills is where the creation story of our Lakota people takes place, which makes this home for our Lakota people. I feel connected to this land because my ancestors have been here for many generations. That makes me a proud South Dakotan.
Hey everybody, my name is Chad Greenway. I graduated from Mount Vernon High School in Mount Vernon, South Dakota in 2001. I went on to play football at the University of Iowa for 4 years in the Big Ten, and then was drafted in the first round by the Minnesota Vikings and played 11 seasons in the NFL for the Minnesota Vikings. I am now retired, live here in the Twin Cities, have 4 daughters, and that all play sports and enjoy that. But I also own a spirits company and a technology company now, post-career, and been working hard doing that. But I grew up on a family farm in Mount Vernon. We were the Mustangs, played 4 sports, graduated and went on to college. So had a great experience. I love South Dakota so much. I go back all the time. All of my family is still there. And I think the people is the number one thing that I love about South Dakota. I go home, it just always feels like home. The people are always so welcoming. No matter what you're doing, they're supportive. And I felt that love when I played and when I left, and every time I come back home. So I love the wide open spaces. I love going back to the farm and hearing that South Dakota quiet, seeing the stars. So many great things about growing up in South Dakota that are just a real big advantage. And also growing up in a small town, which was really a fun experience. So that's me.
Hi everyone, my name is Rowan Grace. I'm from Rapid City, South Dakota, and I'm currently a junior at Rapid City Central High School. My favorite thing about South Dakota is the music and arts scene. I started playing open mics when I was about 9 years old, and that's kind of what introduced me to this scene. Getting to watch these other artists and learn from these other artists only fueled my fire to be an artist even more. I think the moment I really discovered just how amazing the music community is here was when I was in a band the summer of 2021. I got to play all around Rapid City and it was so much fun. I got to meet all the bands that are so well known around town. Not only did I get to watch them and watch their shows and learn from them, but I also got to meet with them personally and become friends with them. I've been able to build a lot of strong connections with people and also just build a really strong support system around me. Actually, when I came back from season 22 of The Voice, I wanted to do this huge welcome back show. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my welcome back show, I thought about all of those friends that I made within the music scene that I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to have them there and I wanted them to be a part of it because they helped me so much with developing myself as an artist and getting me to where I am today. The show ended up turning out amazing and it was so much fun. And it was just so cool to see, practically the whole music scene that supported me so much before The Voice, during The Voice, and after The Voice, all in one room, making music together, supporting one another yet again. It was just a really cool moment. You could really see the love and support in that room, and I'm so, so grateful to be able to grow up in this amazing community. I would have not been able to do the things I did in the past year without this amazing community of Rapid City, and also just South Dakota as a whole. So yeah, that's my favorite thing about Rapid City, South Dakota, is the amazing music scene and just the wonderful, supportive people that support music here. So, thanks so much for letting me share.
Good morning. My name is Don Montileaux. I'm a Ogallala Lakota from the Pine Ridge Reservation here in South Dakota. I've been interested in art basically all my life, and I've become a professional artist the last 20 years, and my gallery represents me as Prairie Edge here in Rapid City, South Dakota. I studied here in Rapid City, graduated from high school, moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico for my college years, did a brief period of time in Black Hills State University, and then taught on the Cheyenne River Reservation, Cherry Creek, Bridger, Red Scaffold, for 3 years. And then after that, I moved to Rapid City, met my wife, got married, continued my artwork all the time, worked 22 years at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center. And now I'm a full-time artist ever since the year 2000. I show nationally and internationally my artwork, and I'm successful in my business as an artist. Hopefully you also will pursue your dreams and have fun doing it as I do. And thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful day.
Hi, my name's Tom Byrum, and I grew up in Oneida, South Dakota. I've played professional golf for nearly 40 years. Some of my favorite places in South Dakota, of course, Mount Rushmore, and the story behind that is really amazing, as you all know. Don't take it for granted, it is something special. But also for me, something special is that Missouri River. Anywhere along there, hunting, fishing, just being there, seeing it, it just is, I just love that place. And I love the people in South Dakota, and I think that's what makes me most proud to be from there. I think the support I've had over my career, people yelling out to me while I'm playing golf, go South Dakota. It's a great feeling when you're out there competing against the best players in the world. And I am so proud to be from that state. You have a great governor, one of the top 3 in the nation, and South Dakota makes me proud.
Hey everybody, my name is Shawn Colvin. I'm a musician, a singer, and a songwriter, and I perform music. That's what I do for a living. I was born in Vermilion, South Dakota, 67 years ago, well, 67 and a half, and we moved away when I was about 10 years old, my family and I went to Jolly School, grade school. I can remember all my teachers, first grade, second, even kindergarten. And one of my favorite places, well, 2 of my favorite places in the winter, I loved going to the Vermilion River to skate. And then we always went to Lewis and Clark Lake in Yankton, South Dakota during the summer, which is my father's favorite place. And it's probably my favorite place too. And I went back recently to visit Vermilion. It had been a very long time since I'd been there, and I knew every inch of it like I'd never left. So it obviously is dear to me and made quite an impression. So, bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terry Ree. I'm supposedly famous from South Dakota. I'm one half of the comedy team Williams and Ree, referred to ourselves as the Indian and the white guy, and I'm Sioux Indian. I graduated I was born in Huron, South Dakota in 1949, graduated from Riggs High in Pierre, 1968, and went on to college where I met my partner at Black Hill State College. And we've been a team, comedy team, music comedy team ever since then. And we are so proud to be from South Dakota. My hometown is Pierre, and that's probably my favorite place in South Dakota. Although the Black Hills are so beautiful, and anytime you get to spend time in Spearfish and Deadwood and Lead and Terry Peak, all those places, it's just a lot of fun. And I want to thank you all for listening to me, and I don't know what else to say. I'm not really famous. I just did this because Mike Stroup is my nephew, and he was your principal for a while, and he's still there at Riggs High. So thank you.
Hello. Do you want to tell me who you are and what your name is and where you went to school and all that?
Sure. My name is Mike Stroup. I was born and raised here in Pierre, South Dakota. And I need to say that I'm not famous, or the only reason I'm famous is because I'm the nephew of Terry Ree, who's Williams and Ree, who is the really famous one. But at any rate, yes, I was born and raised here in Pierre. Went all through the educational system here in Pierre. Went elementary school at the Catholic school, and then on to, at that time was the junior high, grades 7, 8, and 9, and then grades 10, 11, and 12 here at Riggs High School, graduated from Riggs High School. Real brief, I think I had a very successful, rewarding, I should say, experience here in high school. I probably wasn't known as the most academic student here, but I did have a very rewarding and successful high school career. After high school, I went on to college, first year at Vermilion, USD, and then I transferred to Augustana College and graduated from Augustana College. From there, after graduation, my first teaching job was at Flandreau Indian School, which was a very unique and rewarding experience as well. From there, I went to Penn State and got my master's degree in educational administration. And then from that point on, I basically went down and lived and worked on the reservation, and worked first for Sinte Galeshka College, and in the founding years of Sinte Galeshka College as a registrar, did that for 3 years, and then became a high school principal in White River for 10 years, and coach and principal and all those kinds of things. And from there, then I came back home. Came back in 1994, so the first time back in Pierre from 75, from the time I graduated till 94, came back as a high school principal here at Riggs High School. And I was probably the last person that people would have anticipated coming back and being the high school principal. Like I say, I had a very rewarding high school career, but probably not one that people thought I would come back and be the high school principal. Interestingly enough, when I did come back, 50% of the current teaching staff was teachers when I was a student here in high school. So it was quite an eye-opener when I returned to be their boss and be the high school principal. So you never know where you're going to go in life. But after being Riggs High School principal, I did go back to the White River area, became superintendent, was superintendent for a number of years in White River, and then on to superintendent at Martin. And then again, always drawn back home, came back to Pierre and was a assistant principal, athletic director. Then I had a little boy 10 years ago, and I have been retired for the last 10 years. And just because now all the kids are in school and stuff, I decided to come back to school, and I'm now the in-school suspension supervisor, and enjoying being back in and with and around kids.
Wonderful. Can you tell me what makes you most proud to be a South Dakotan, and where your favorite place is in South Dakota to hang out?
Okay. Well, I think that I've had a pretty exciting life, and with a variety of things and places, and seen a lot of places and done a lot of things. Everything from being a crop duster to a construction worker to a truck driver, and seen a lot of places. And you know what? I think Dorothy had it right. There's no place like home. And South Dakota has some of the most beautiful natural resources and people and kids and communities anywhere in the world. And I'm proud to be from South Dakota.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to share?
You know, if I had any words of wisdom, which is somewhat limited, but I would say always try to find the best in people. When you look at somebody, just try to look at what's best about that person, and also have the best possible outlook and be thankful for the situation you're in, because there's always people who don't have it as fortunate as you. And the other thing is, do the best you can to accept others, even if they're different than you, or even if they have different beliefs than you. And if you take into account that what's so important is perspective. And everybody has their own unique perspective based on their experiences, based on their life, based on their culture, based on everything else. And we're all different, we're all unique, and that's the way it should be.
Thank you.
So often we think about geography as about a place. It's really not. As you guys have no doubt learned by now in world geography, it's really not about memorizing the names of lakes and countries as much as it is understanding what are the differences between places. And in that way, geography is really, to a surprising degree, about people and about how they influence the physical place and about how the physical place influences them. I think that's particularly important for South Dakotans to understand, because how did the physical place, how did the geography impact how our state is today? And for me, it is very clear to see, whether you are of Scandinavian background or Germanic or Lakota, and most of you in class probably fall in one of those three buckets. The people who lived in South Dakota before it was a state, that was a very difficult environment. You couldn't survive there if you were a wimp. And so South Dakotans developed a lot of extra toughness, a lot of extra moxie, a lot of self-initiative, and the ability to help themselves and one another, and that still holds true today. It's not some accident that our test scores are better than the educational test scores across the rest of the country. It's no surprise that South Dakotans are more likely to have a job and less likely to be unemployed. These are things that have sprung about because of the geography that we call home. After graduation, and I graduated from TF Riggs in Pierre. My wife was a Mitchell Colonel. We met at the University of South Dakota, and we moved away from South Dakota for a few years. So why did we move back? And listen, the Badlands are great, and the Black Hills are great, and the Jim River is great. The bluffs over the Missouri River are great, but we didn't move back to our geography because of the physical characteristics. We moved back because of the people, because of the values. We made a list while we were living in the Kansas City area about what things mattered to us most. And then we realized that South Dakota had more of those things in greater quantities than any other place we could imagine. Now I get it, if you want to find a 24-hour sushi restaurant, Pierre might not be your place. If you want to be able to go clubbing at 3 a.m., maybe Pierre isn't your place, and those things are probably more appealing to 22-year-olds. But as people get older and they focus more on a sense of community and on the people, I think you'll find that the geography of where you live now holds up pretty gosh darn well. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Andrew Kightlinger. I'm a 2004 Riggs graduate from Pierce, South Dakota, and now I live in Los Angeles, as evidenced by the palm tree right here, and I direct movies. That's what I do for a living. Actually, it's crazy. My favorite places in South Dakota: Black Elk Peak, the McCuistion Ranch, where I shot Tater Tot and Patton, and most of all, my creative mecca in South Dakota is Sheep Table Mountain in the Badlands. That's where I go hiking there, I camp overnight. That's where I go if I want to crack open an idea. I absolutely adore that place. It feels like you're stepping back in time. What makes me most proud of being a South Dakotan, honestly, are the people. We care about each other, we're hardworking, we believe in each other. I would not be where I am without South Dakotans believing in me and supporting my dream. And I think, we have these horizons, and I think those horizons mean something. It gives us sort of a go for it attitude. And all you students, I encourage you to go out and see the world and venture forth, but never forget where your heart is. And that's South Dakota. So remember that, and happy 2023. Congrats.
Hello, I'm Lee Leuning. I'm from Pierce, South Dakota. In the past, my son Kelly and my daughter Carrie were graduates in the 90s, but we've been asked to talk about ourselves, being from Pierre. A lot of your dads might have known me when I was the game warden there in Pierce, South Dakota. I worked up and down the Sharp Lake and Lake Oahe. I checked a lot of people hunting and fishing, but while I was doing that, I was also doing bronze sculpture. I have a partner, Sherry Treby, and she and I have been doing bronze sculptures together for 30 years. We both retired so we could work full-time on our sculptures in the 2000s, and today we produce half a dozen bronze sculptures a year. And we go into modern art, as you can tell, we do very representational or realistic art, kind of like the famous painter Norman Rockwell. We like to tell a story. So our career has been pretty successful. And just looking around Pierre, you'll see we have 9 figures there at Capitol Lake. The World War II soldiers, the Korean soldiers, the Vietnam soldiers, the Eagle. As we also have 10 of the governors, and we've got a lot of other sculptures in the area. So if you get a chance to see the governors, look for Lee Leuning, Sherry Treby. If you go out to Rapid City, you'll see we've done the City of Presidents. We have 11 presidents out there. All told, Sherry and I have 136 sculptures, individual pieces, standing in South Dakota. And you can about go anywhere, you'll see them. So anyway, we're proud to be from Pierre, and we love Pierre a lot. And I hope you enjoy our sculptures.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Arne, and I grew up in Pierre, South Dakota. I went to T.F. Riggs High School. I am a wildlife conservationist. What that means is that I teach people how to connect with the natural world. I work with wildlife, and like basically anything you can think of, I've worked with. I've worked with rhinos and penguins in South Africa. I have tagged whale sharks in Western Australia. I have swam and worked in the Great Barrier Reef, and I have worked with orangutans in Malaysia. I worked really hard to get to that point and had a lot of really incredible supporters along the way. I am so grateful you asked me to be a part of this project. Thank you so much. I am currently in Los Angeles, California, doing one of the many things that I do in my career. I am speaking. I speak at a lot of events like at schools, universities, zoos, museums, aquariums. I speak at really fancy dinners, and I teach people how to save wildlife and wild places. You know, things that you could do on a daily basis, but also as you grow up, using your intelligence, your creativity, and your voice to create change to make this a healthier planet, not just for animals, but also for us human beings, because we need the same things to survive. So that's one part of my job. The other part of my job is content creation for social media, YouTube, or for TV shows like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And then the other part of my job is actually working out in the field. So I'm really fortunate because I have a really diverse schedule. I get to do all different types of things, and I got to work with some really incredible and inspiring people. And it all started from growing up in Pierre, South Dakota, and going to SDSU and getting my degrees and my education in psychology, education, and biology. Thank you all so much, and good luck on this project. Keep dreaming. See you later. Bye.
Hi. Hey, I'm Dick Termas from Spearfish, South Dakota. I've been an artist out here for 50-some years. I'm going to just kind of spin in a circle so you see my artwork, because it's a lot more interesting than I am. So I've been doing this for over 50 years, living out here in the Black Hills. Was born and raised out here. Went to school in Spearfish High School and Spearfish Schools, and went to Black Hills State. Then went off teaching and taught in Oregon and in Wyoming, and then came back, worked on a degree at University of Wyoming, and also went to Otis Art Institute and got my MFA out there. So then I came back, taught at Black Hills State, and started a gallery out here, the Thermosphere Gallery. Been here for many, many years, and painted all of these spheres. So I want to spend a little time just showing you the work too, because it's, like I say, a lot more interesting than I am, I hope. I've done a variety of different types of artwork. Some of it's very geometrical, like this piece here. Some of it's more on the realistic side, like these two pieces. Some of it's very surreal, like this one. And some very perspective, 6-point perspective oriented. Then some of the historical, quite a few pieces that are on the historical side. And then another history piece over here, Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, Turkey. And just quite a variety of different pieces. So, love the Black Hills, inspired by the Black Hills. Not because I do Black Hills scenes, but because I enjoy living here. So that kind of gives you a clue of the kinds of work that I do. So I'm going to tune off. I'm over my limit. Thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Alicia Fabel. I am an author and a teacher. I have lived in South Dakota for 7 years, and I look forward to calling South Dakota home for many, many more years. I've actually written and published all of my books from my home here in Pierce, South Dakota. Growing up, I was a Coast Guard brat, so we got to move a lot, see a lot of the country. I got to live and visit a lot of beautiful places, but South Dakota is my favorite, and I love getting to come home to South Dakota. If I had to choose a favorite place in South Dakota, it's really difficult. There's a lot of great places, but I'll show my bias. My favorite place in South Dakota is Pierre. Specifically in Pierre, my favorite is the hundreds of miles of trails and pathways that network all throughout our community, from the center of town by the state capitol building, all the way down to the Missouri River, and then crisscross the islands nearby. Those are my happy place. But in general, I just love getting to call Pierre my home. I love getting to answer the question, where are you from, with I'm from South Dakota. I love living here, I love working here, and I love playing here. South Dakota is the best.
Hey, all of you at Riggs High and Pierre, this is Curt Byrum. Hey, I'm a native of South Dakota. I grew up just down the road from all of you in Oneida. I went to Sully Buttes High School. I graduated from there. From there, I went to the University of New Mexico on a golf scholarship. So I played there for a few years, which was great. After that, I was able to qualify for the PGA Tour. Very lucky to do that. I played on the PGA Tour for many years, trying to compete, play hard, and make a living out there. When that career ended, I was lucky enough to get into TV. I ended up with the Golf Channel and NBC. I've been doing that for a career as a commentator for them the last 20 plus years. So that's been great. But I sure miss South Dakota, and a couple of things that I love to do, which is to fish and to hunt. I try to get back there maybe a couple times a year if I can, but since I'm still working, it's not easy. But I really miss it. I love to fish and hunt. I love the people in South Dakota. Every time I go back there, I enjoy myself completely. So I hope all of you are well. Good luck with your project, and we'll talk to you later.
Hi, I'm Virginia Driving Hawk Sneve, and I live in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I am an author, and I specialize in children's literature, young adult, although I do some adult writing as well. I was born and raised on the Rosebud Reservation and attended school at St. Mary's School for Indian Girls in Springfield, South Dakota, which has been closed for a long time. And then I went to South Dakota State University in Brookings, and I earned a bachelor's and a master's degree. I used to live in some places, in other places in South Dakota, like Sioux Falls and Brookings, and on the reservation. But most of my life has been in South Dakota, except for about 8 years when we lived in Iowa. Then we moved back to South Dakota. I'm very pleased where I live in Rapid City because the Black Hills is a wonderful place to be and is my favorite place. I'm very pleased that you're having this project, and I hope it goes well for you.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean Covel. I am an author. I'm the writer of the children's book series Porter the Hoarder, as well as Marlon McDougall's Magical Night. And I'm also a movie producer. I produced a number of films, including this movie, Napoleon Dynamite, which has a lunchbox. That's kind of cool. And I'm also a proud South Dakotan. I grew up in Edgemont, South Dakota, graduated from Edgemont High. Go Moguls. Don't know what that is still. And went off in the world and became a producer. I lived in Los Angeles for 15 years, but I love South Dakota so much that I kept coming back and eventually decided to make South Dakota my home once again. So I relocated back to Deadwood, South Dakota. And Deadwood is one of my favorite places in the state. The entire town has so much history, and you can just feel the stories that have been generated here. And I absolutely love stories. And I love being able to look out on the hills, even if it means that there's a blizzard coming in. One of the things that makes me most proud of being from South Dakota is the fact that we are such a community. I mean, I had a 7-foot snowdrift in front of my driveway the other day, but the neighbors came through and took care of it because they had a bobcat. That does not happen in Los Angeles. I mean, 7-foot snowdrifts don't happen in Los Angeles, but taking care of your neighbors just to do it, that also doesn't happen in Los Angeles. So South Dakota is a beautiful place. It's a great place, but at the center of it, amazing people. And I'm so fortunate to be able to be back and to be able to live among them. So anyway, I hope all is well, and I hope you have grand adventures as you head out from school into the world. And always remember where you came from. Thanks, everybody.